Have you seen old girl online cooking like a 90s mom? I mean, canned biscuits, fried pork chops, boxed mac and cheese, a can of string beans. I mean, cooking down some of my favorite meals. But I figured since we are cooking like a 90s mom, how about we read like a 90s mom as well? Hi friends, welcome back to Show Me the Book Club. I am Shelby Monet, and as you can see by the title and the intro, I have put together a TBR of some of the most popular Black authors of the 90s. I got all of these books off my mom's bookshelf. Some of them I've read, some of them I haven't. So let's get right into it. Before we get started, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. That's very important. And everything mentioned in this video will be linked down below in the underneath a bar. I call it the underneath a bar because it is underneath of the video. Get it? Got it? Good. Some of these might be hard to link, so I'm going to do my best because they might be out of publication. I'm not sure. Without further ado, let's get into it for real this time. So, first up, I have Baby of the Family. This is by Tina McElroy Anta. You guys may remember her name, or it may sound familiar to you because she did recently pass away. I believe that was like towards the end of last year. But my mom has a ton of her books on her bookshelf. So Tina Anta takes us into an absorbing world of eccentric characters and picturesque local customs with this evocative, delicately comic story of a young girl's coming of age. From the moment of her birth in a rural Black hospital in Georgia, Lena McPherson is recognized by all the nurses as a special child with the power to see ghosts and predict the future. She must have been born with a veil. Only one nurse knows the spells to ensure that the child will see benevolent spirits, not evil ones. But Nurse Bloom hasn't bargained for Lena's mother, who scoffs at old-timey ideas and discreetly disposes of the spiritual tea the nurse has brewed. Girl, no ill effects are immediately apparent to Lena's relatives in their spacious house on a prosperous side of town, but early on there are signs of trouble, and Lena is prey to suspicions no one else need consider. A new face may be a new kid in town, or maybe a face from the grave. This sounds super good. I've been wanting to read through her work since she passed because I realized like the names sound familiar, but I hadn't read any of her work. Next, we have Some Soul to Keep, J. California Cooper. J. California Cooper is one of my mom's favorites. This is another one that is all over her bookshelf. My mom has been dying for me to read J. California Cooper. I will say I have been apprehensive. Oh, my mom annotated and stuff in this one. That's so cool. I've been apprehensive because a lot of her books are collections of short stories, and I am not necessarily partial to short stories. I'm getting a little bit better, but that's what kept me away. But I recently read Bernice L. McFadden's memoir, Firstborn Girls, and she talks about J. California Cooper. So now I'm like, the stars are aligning. I need to read. So this one says, J. California Cooper writes with a transparent clarity and such exuberant energy that her characters leap off the page, bursting with stories they've got to tell, stories of simple people, stories of families and fate, of love and marriage, of death and the triumph of the human spirit. Cooper is that most rare and wondrous thing, a true storyteller whose tales trace the energies of life itself. I love this. I love how used this is. I'll probably get a newer copy so that we can keep that one on the bookshelf and keep it a little pretty. Next, something that I should probably put in a box to preserve it, because this is definitely one of the first editions of this. This is Invisible Life by Evelyn Harris. If you're a part of my book club, we read Evelyn Harris's memoir, What Becomes of the Brokenhearted, one of my favorite books. And this is his debut. It doesn't say what this one's about though. Yeah, no. I'll put a synopsis on the screen. But Invisible Life, and they probably don't even have copies that look like this. This is definitely a like first edition of this Invisible Life. Next, April Sinclair, Ain't Gonna Be the Same Fool Twice. Another one. My mom has a ton of April Sinclair books on her bookshelf. I've seen this name more than twice. Oh, look, and my mom wrote the date in here. Gigi. So, April Sinclair's first novel, Coffee Will Make You Black, was an enormous commercial and critical success. In her second novel, Ain't Gonna Be the Same Fool Twice, Stevie, an immensely appealing young African-American woman, is just graduating from college and is ready to expand her horizons. She goes to San Francisco with 2 friends as a post-graduation trip and decides to stay when she realizes the city holds more promise for her than returning to her cramped room in her parents' house on Chicago's South Side. It was the best of times if you knew where the party was. The year was 1975, a time of one-night stands, disco, personal growth, and the height of a woman's liberation movement. And Stevie dives into the scene at a woman's dance. She meets Tracy, a cute, cinnamon-colored woman with attitude who introduces her to yoga, hot tubs, and vegetarianism, and tells Stevie she has enough tofu burgers in her freezer to last till we put a black woman in the White House. She should still be eating tofu burgers. Still. When the relationship becomes intimate, Stevie discovers a side of her nature that would make her mama's hair stand up. Soon, though, things with Tracy go sour and Stevie has to crash on the couch of a brand new friend, a disco queen named Sterling. When Stevie asks if he's sure he wants to give up his couch since he really doesn't know her from Adam, Sterling replies, "Yes, I do. Too, honey. Because if you were Adam, you wouldn't be sleeping on my couch. You'd be up in the bed with me." This sounds like it's going to be really good. Like, really, really good. I might have to leave this on my nightstand and read this soon. This sounds phenomenal. Now, the next one, if you've been following me for a while, you know how I feel about this person. But I know that a lot of y'all's introduction to her was through her TV show, Iyanla Fix My Life. Well, baby, my mama has been reading her books and listening to the albums that accompany these books for so many years that I was surprised that y'all didn't know who Iyanla was. She has a ton of self-help books that my mom said helped her. I don't like self-help books. But I will say the album In the Meantime, there is Kelly Price is on there singing Ain't No Way. And when I tell you Kelly Price sing the knuckles off that song, I mean good flat-footed singing. Do you hear me? A time. This is a beautiful picture of her, by the way. Like, phenomenal. So you know where you want to be, but you have no clue how to get there. You know exactly what you want in life, but what you want is nowhere in sight. Perhaps your vision is unclear, your purpose still undefined. On top of it all, your relationships, particularly your romantic relationships, are failing. Sound like somebody been in here watching me. If these scenarios feel familiar way down in the deepest part of your gut, then you, my dear, are smack dab in the middle of the meantime. Your mother, bless her heart, and your father, with all of his good intentions, did not prepare you for the meantime. Why am I starting to talk anyway, if you like self-help books, or if you watched Iyanla Fix My Life, I just need you to know that these are her beginnings. She's always been like a self-help coach or whatever the case may be. I think a lot of people don't realize that she's not actually a therapist. But anyway, y'all should all know this one. Terry McMillan, How Stella Got Her Groove Back. I have not read this. I did read Waiting to Exhale and was very disappointed, but I do want to read this. I'm not going to read the synopsis. This is a beautiful picture of her. Not going to read the synopsis. Y'all all know what how Stella got her groove back is about. I would be interested in reading this and then watching the movie to see what the differences are. I haven't watched that movie in a very long time. That's another case of what's his face? I wish he didn't talk, because I knew him from that movie and he was fine, and I wish he didn't. I've heard his voice now. Next, Knowing. This is Rosalyn McMillan, and I don't know if they're siblings or not. This has a blurb on the back by Tanana Redu. That's crazy. So it says, in the tradition of sisters and lovers, waiting to exhale, and brothers and sisters, comes a fiercely honest and passionate new voice in African American fiction. Rosalyn McMillan's debut is a ultimately triumphant story of one woman's struggle to realize dreams unfulfilled, risking the only life she knows. So many parts of Ginger Montgomery's life satisfy her. Her husband, Jackson, is a strong black man whose powerful sense of self and intoxicating sexuality hold her enthralled. Her lucrative auto factory job has brought her a spectacular home in Detroit and a promising future for her four lively children. Yet Ginger can no longer ignore the restlessness deep in her soul, the education she put aside. That's why you don't do that for no man. It's time she realized her own talents and identity through the challenges of the white collar world just within her grasp. But Ginger soon finds there is no leaving behind the pain and insecurities of the past. This might have to go on the, this might have to go on there too. I love this book cover, by the way. And then last but certainly not least, B.B. Moore Campbell. This is Your Blues Ain't Like Mine. Sure ain't. This is a beautiful cover. So it says, repercussions are felt for decades in a dozen lives after a racist beating turns to cold-blooded murder in a small Mississippi town in the 1950s. B.B. Moore Campbell's affecting memoir, Sweet Summer, Growing Up With and Without My Dad, was hailed by the Philadelphia Inquirer as a remarkable achievement, ripe with family stories, lush with images, suffused with emotions. So yeah, this doesn't tell us what the book is about, baby. Oh, okay. Chicago-born Armstrong Todd is 15, black, and unused to the segregated ways of the Deep South when his mother sends him to spend the summer with relatives in her native rural Mississippi. For speaking a few innocuous words in French to a white woman, Armstrong pays the ultimate price when her husband, brother-in-law, father-in-law decide to teach him a lesson. The lives of everyone involved in the incident, black and white, are changed forever, and the reverberations extend well into the next generation. Resonate with the sorrows of poverty, racial prejudice, as well as the triumphs of love, social justice. Your Blues Ain't Like Mine marks a debut of a powerful, clear voice in contemporary fiction. Like, there are just so many things that, so many authors and such out there that we just haven't heard of, because there's just so much to read. So I'm looking forward to reading this too. I think next year is going to be the year where I mostly try to work through like my mom's bookshelf. We'll do half and half. There'll obviously be like new releases that I want to read that may be book club picks, but my personal reading, the goal is probably going to read a lot of old books. Okay. If you have read any of these, let me know which ones you have. If you're interested in reading some of these, let me know. Maybe it'll be a book club pick next year. And if no one told you today, I love you. You are kind, you are smart, you are important. If to no one else, to me. Bye.